NFTs are, in terms of like crypto and the blockchain, like they are pretty universal as it gets. Like people are using them in different ways. Maybe Avalanche or Sui or some other blockchains are using them for gaming instead of using them for collectibles. Like they may be using them in different ways, like in music NFTs. Those are, I
Yeah.
think, going to be popular as well. So it's um people are going to be using NFTs just in different ways, but I don't think the word NFT is going away. Like I know they're trying to say digital collectible. I don't think it's going to go away for a while. I think more people are going to learn about what it is and then maybe it'll shift away from the word NFT. But right now it's just there's more and more interest in NFTs for sure.
How you
Thank you.
doing?
Good to be here, Kahlo. Having a great day, actually. Mondays are great. We're usually working over the weekend to some degree, and so being able to hit the road on Monday and start putting all of our weekend thoughts into action is always exciting. So I love Monday.
Nice. And you are in Colorado, right? I'm in the Rocky Mountains. How is the weather now? I hear it's a great place for skiing, right?
It is a great place for skiing. We get tons of snow. I mean, I'm in Denver. We're pretty elevated at over 5,000 feet. But yeah, I mean, we get really, really great snow. People come here from all over the world. The weather is interesting. The summers are nice. The winter starts early. We had snow before Halloween, and
Mm,
today is kind of rainy and gross. But the rest, I mean, like the weekend was really beautiful. Last week was really beautiful. And by beautiful, I mean like in the high 60s or like low 70s. Oh, and
okay.
I know that's
Okay.
Fahrenheit for you, so I don't know how to translate to Celsius.
That's, I guess that's like 5 to 10 Celsius, I believe. I have to check, but it's not below 0 Celsius. So is it like snowy outside? Very snowy
Right now,
or not so?
no, right now it's not snowing. We did get a lot of snow during a storm at late October, but right now it's looking good. It's raining, but nothing serious. How about you?
Awesome. So I'm in Spain, usually, I mean, in the north, right? So it's very different, the north from the south. And the north is really also very rainy, but we had a very bad month, but now it's very sunny again. So it's changing a lot over the years because of the climate change. I think it's impacting the north of Spain a lot. So in a good way, it's much better the weather here than it was 30 years ago. So I'm actually very happy.
So
Yeah.
climate change is improving your life.
Yeah, I would say so. People tell me 50 because I'm not originally from here. I'm from Venezuela originally. So I moved here around 3 years ago, and everybody, it's considered to be like a very rainy city. But for me, it hasn't been like that. It's actually pretty good weather. So yeah, climate change is improving my life, as you said.
I don't know if we should be saying that, but I'm glad for you.
All right, Anjali. So yeah, very happy to have you here. You are the co-founder of CollabLand, which I'm sure many of the listeners have used in one way or another. I have used it many times. Uh, for my own project, the Blind Gallery. That's how we manage our community, and also in different places, different communities all around Web3. So I'm very excited to hear your journey. How you started that project and also what's the state of all the communities that are currently in Web3. I know there are thousands of communities that are powered by CollabLand. In your perspective, right, on what's the future of communities, what you have seen 2 3 years ago and what you're seeing now, and you know what you think will happen in the future, right? Let's try to see um, ahead with your thoughts. But yeah, let's start, Anjali, with the how did you get into crypto and into Web3 blockchain?
Yeah, good question. Well, I've been an online person for my entire adult life. I started dialing up to bulletin boards when I was still in high school, and I graduated from high school in 1992. So it was a pretty
Okay.
long time ago. So this was before there was anything called the internet or the web or anything like that. This was just getting on my computer with my modem and dialing up to somebody else's server somewhere in Los Angeles. I
Mhm.
grew up in Los Angeles, and um, joining an online forum. It was all just like letters and numbers and black and white, or maybe green and white. I don't know. It was a very old computer. There were no images or anything like that. And just getting to meet people. Like literally, it was just playing games together, which were called
Mhm.
MUDs, multi-user games,
Yep.
and just chatting away. Like that's really all we did. Talk about just all the things that were going on. And the only thing we all had in common is that we were interested in technology, and we were interested in meeting other people that we didn't know. And for me as a kid, like it was really exciting to meet people from outside of my neighborhood, outside of my high school. Like it was just so much fun. And so I had a best friend, Brandy and we together were like, we're going to do this. Like we're going to get online. We're going to meet strangers. We're going to go meet them in real life. And we just had the best time. So I had a buddy to do it with me. I wasn't completely alone.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I started then, and it's been 30 years, over 30 years now since I've been online. That experience has grown over time. Like it started with, like I said, it started with dialing up, but then I moved to Live Journal, and I joined different groups, not on Discord, but different places all over the internet, joining other messaging boards and joining other communities, leading communities, being mod for a
Mhm.
community. Most recently, I was a mod for or admin for a 60,000 person Discord, or not Discord,
Mm.
Facebook group. And
Okay.
so modding modding the Facebook group was kind of my lead in to doing
Mhm.
this. But my husband, James, is created the idea of CollabLand. Before CollabLand, our company was no code tooling. And so it was very
Okay.
developer focused. So there really wasn't room for me. Like I'm his partner. We've been together almost 29 years. And so we have a long history in life together. This is his fourth startup. So I've been
Mm.
around for all of his previous startups. And so I've always been helping with that to some degree. But when our company was just no code tooling, there really wasn't room for me. Like there was no place where I felt
Mhm.
like I could really participate in a significant way other than just kind of advising on the side. But
Mhm.
once we became a community product, like once he came up with this idea of CollabLand, which was really just a demonstration of our no code tooling. CollabLand
Mm.
wasn't meant to be the thing. CollabLand was just a thing that he created this idea to show people how to use the no code tools.
Yeah.
So he created CollabLand to say, look, we made this, you can make something like this. And then everybody was like, oh, what? This thing? This is something everybody needs. Yes,
Yeah.
let's use that. And then once that started, then I felt very excited about that. And he was very excited about that. And he's like, yes, now we're a community tool. This is what people want. Like this is what
Yeah.
crypto is asking for. Like crypto wants communities. And
Yeah.
that was kind of a really exciting moment for both of us because we'd never worked together before, but we've had this life together. And for him to say like, oh, this is a real opportunity for you and I to work together and be co-founders here of this whole new experiment
Yeah.
was tremendously exciting and remains exciting to this day. Being able to work together with him and run have CollabLand. It's just such a dream come true.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's how I got involved with it. He'd been involved with crypto for many years. He wrote a white paper back in 2016 on token curated registries. He also wrote the white paper for multichain. So he's been around the space for a pretty long time as an L2 researcher. He launched the
Okay.
very first payment channel with Spank Chain.
Mhm.
So he's kind of been around crypto for a really long time. I wasn't interested, honestly. In the beginning, I was just like, because of him and my exposure to crypto was through him, and he's a developer. So his perspective on crypto was more about the technology, like
Okay.
from the developer perspective. So he had known about Bitcoin, had mentioned Bitcoin in the past, but it wasn't until Ethereum that he got like all in. So being able
Yes.
to build on Ethereum, and maybe you were there at that time too, but being able to build on Ethereum was very, very exciting for him as a
Yeah,
developer.
that's the same for me actually. So I knew about Bitcoin and crypto early, I think 2014, but I wasn't, that into it. But it was because of Ethereum. When
Mhm.
you at the moment where you could build stuff right on top of the blockchain, when it became very interesting. So
Mm.
that's very, very, I mean, a nice journey. And when did the switch happen from a no code tool for developers and people that wanted to build stuff to a community? When did you see, like, okay, everybody's using CollabLand, this tool that we built on top of our no code tooling? When did you say, okay, let's that's the product right there? What happened for you to
Yeah,
do that?
that's a good question. CollabLand started in May of 2020, and it
Mhm.
definitely was not a runaway hit. It kind of was slowly, like I said, we built other tools too, and the other tools didn't really get much traction. And initially, CollabLand was a DAO tool. The purpose of
Okay.
CollabLand was if you have a DAO and you want all the members of that DAO to join a chat together, you need to know who actually is a part of your DAO and who isn't. Like you need to somehow verify what assets they have in their wallet. And if you know that, then you can know who to chat with and who to
Yeah.
include in the conversations. You don't want people there who are just rabble rousers or trolls or whatever. And so it really was a DAO specific tool. So this is back in May of 2020. DAOs really weren't even what they are today, right? Like now everyone knows what a DAO is. That was definitely not true in May of 2020. So it was kind of a slower, first few months were a bit slow. And then it was really interesting because people that had tokens from the ICO boom now
Hmm.
started creating groups for whales of those tokens. So like if you had launched a Colo token during the ICO boom and then really nothing happened, right? Like all the tokens kind of turned into shit tokens, not saying your shit, but most of them. But then all of a sudden, people that were holders of those tokens, like what if you had people that owned 20 million Colo tokens?
Yeah.
Well, they can start a chat. You don't have to start it. They can start a chat and say, for all holders of Colo token, join this
Mm,
chat. And that was
okay.
DeFi summer. And so all of a sudden, you have people in these that held tokens from before, now part of alpha groups. It's really alpha groups that spur on bull markets. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen it twice now, I will tell you, where it's really the alpha groups that get it started. I mean, like, really, I know it's cliche to say we're early, but if alpha groups are running the show, then we're early. So
Hmm.
these alpha
Hmm.
groups started right in DeFi summer, and then it wasn't until spring of 2021 that NFT community, an NFT project, Bored Ape specifically,
Yeah.
used CollabLand for token gating their Bored Ape NFT. And
Hmm.
once that happened, it was like off to the races. I was DMing every single new NFT project that I saw on Twitter, every single one. I was DMing them from the CollabLand account. And I was saying, please, you just launched a project. How about if you want everyone who just bought your project to be in a Discord chat together or a Telegram chat
Yeah.
together? Like, wouldn't that be cool? Do you want to know who your holders are? Like, do you want to get
Hmm.
them together? And I really had to just like convince everybody to do it. But Kalo, you're a fan of NFTs just like me. Like they move me. I'm moved by
Hmm.
NFTs. And
Yeah.
when I saw the potential of this happening, people coming together through ownership of art
Hmm.
and a graphic, even any kind of graphic, like a collectible, like people coming together over that just lit me up. Like I just
Yeah.
felt like this is it. And we actually had a couple of challenges early on because James, being a DAO person, was like wanting to continue to build for DAOs. And so he wanted to
Okay.
keep building for the DAO stack. Let's build this for DAOs, that, or DAOs, or this or that, or like constantly coming up with new ways to improve DAOs, which is a great thing. And I agree somebody should do it. I didn't think we needed to do it. And so
You
that
were
was
more into NFTs. But I mean, DAOs also run on NFTs. Maybe at the beginning it wasn't like that. It was on coins
No,
or
no,
okay,
it was not like that. It was on Moloch shares. Yeah, ERC20 tokens.
okay, okay.
There
So you
was
were
no
the one.
concept of
Okay.
NFT DAOs. NFT DAOs is, I can get to that a little bit later, but yeah, it's definitely, that was our first argument. Like
Mm,
where I was like, I don't like this. And for him, it's very difficult. And I will say this is probably one of the things I think that's interesting, because we are our founder, James and I are founders, but I'm a lawyer and he's a software engineer. So neither of us
mhm,
come from like traditional business. And
mhm.
so I would say that was one of the first challenges, because for him, he's like, token gating isn't advanced tech. He's like, I want right? He's a developer.
Ye-
It has to be fun. It has to be exciting. It has to be a problem that he wants to solve. And he has to stay up all night thinking about the problem. And it's just like, that's kind of the
Yeah,
excitement.
yeah, I guess I mean, it's an authentication problem, right? Like, okay, if you basically, can you be here or not? And for a software engineer, I mean, that's like something that was solved very early on, right? In different platforms. It's like a basic feature, right? When you build a product, you can log in with your email or you can log in with whatever Twitter account. And I guess for a software developer, yeah, that wasn't that challenging, right?
No,
But
he's like, I came up with it. We did it. It's cool. Like, that's fine. Now let's see what other more advanced thing I can do.
Mhm,
But what I said to him at that point is like, we need to go wider. Let's support more chains. Let's support other
mhm,
token types. Like, I want to go this direction, wide. I don't
right.
want to go narrow or up.
Mhm,
And thankfully, I feel like that's the part, that's really the superpower, right? Is that we have known each other for so long. And yes, we had a conflict about this, but that he was like, trust me to give it a chance.
mhm.
And also is my husband, right? And so it's like,
But
he's
it
like,
turned out to be a great idea, right? Because then the NFT boom happened,
right,
and it probably
right. And it
many no.
happened. And um, it really was incredible, and it remains incredible to this day, because being able to be at the foundation of human interaction, like to be facilitating a new type of human organization, like
Yeah,
I don't
something very
have
unique.
the words. Like,
Yeah,
how many people get to that? Like, I don't know, token gating now, everyone knows what it is, and it's obvious to everyone, but it wasn't obvious in May of
yeah,
2020. It was a brand new concept that just felt like something we needed for our DAO. And so let's just create something fun and something useful that we need. And for it to be something that everybody needed, it's just, I mean, how many times do you create things, of course, through the history of our lives, like we come up with ideas, and to have an idea that has become a standard and has become meaningful to people, like
yeah,
there's really
yeah.
no word.
Right, and maybe to give some context, so I was looking at the stats from CollabLand, and they were very impressive, but they were from a year ago. So I
Hmm.
think I have outdated stats. So can you tell us how many communities run on CollabLand, are powered
Yeah.
by CollabLand, and how many users, how many signups and authentications have you done through CollabLand?
Oh boy. How many authentications we've done? I think that might be the way we're doing verified users, but I don't know that exact number. But we have over 53,000 communities, which is still continues to grow, like even in
Yeah,
a bull bear market. The
oh, that's
last
super impressive.
year,
Yeah,
it really is. And over the
impressive.
last
Yeah.
2 years, it's like we've seen slowdown, of course, in the number of communities, but the number of people in those communities continues to grow. Every day, we still have 2,000 new wallets across 28 blockchains joining
Wow,
a CollabLand server.
that's
So
impressive.
it's like, it may not be Ethereum at the top all the time. It may be Solana, or it may be Flow, or it may be Tezos or Bitcoin. Like, we support so many, and that was kind of the first fight, right? Like, let's go wide. Let's try to support as many chains as possible. because once you have an opportunity to show people communication, like you want everyone to have it. Everyone
Yeah.
should have it, right? And so, because we get to have data across 28 different blockchains, it gives us more of an overview. It's more of an eagle's nest view on what's happening in crypto rather
Right.
than projects that are ETH focused or Solana focused or Flow focused. Like, we don't have that. Like, we're still bringing our authentication and our community market. We have a marketplace as well, but our community tools to every chain. That's really the
Hmm.
idea. And the concept behind that is that we're going to be a multi-chain play. Like, we are going to be
Yeah.
multi-chain. Like, I don't know if there's going to just be a single chain that's going to be able to do everything, or we'd even want that. Like, part of decentralization and part of options and what we're really trying to do here in our space is like give people autonomy and give people opportunity to kind of choose the path that's best for them.
Hmm.
And part of that, I think, is having a multi-chain future.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think there are, you know, pros and cons in every chain in terms of technology, but also what sort of communities are built around those blockchains, right? There are, um, of course, advantages in terms of how the blockchains themselves work and gas fees, and maybe they are better for one or another thing, DeFi, etc. But I agree that it feels like the future will be, multi-chain, and we'll see probably more. I mean, we need more ways to interact between
Yeah.
blockchains, in my opinion. So you support 28 blockchains. That's fantastic. I think I haven't seen, besides exchanges, right, crypto exchanges, a product that supports so many blockchains. That's very impressive. So
Yeah. I
many
mean,
L2s as well, and
yeah.
L1s.
And absolutely, like Near, like that's why I was at
Mm.
NearCon. A lot of people don't know about Near on the NFT side, but they're doing an amazing job. I mean, with Bitcoin, like I said, we sponsor Bitcoin or we are supporting Bitcoin. And so it's like going to Bitcoin conferences and hearing what's going on there with NFTs, like both at
Ordinals, right?
Ordinals
Ordinals.
and Bitcoin stamps. There's two different kinds,
Mm.
but also at Near talking about NFTs. So NFTs are, in terms of like crypto and the blockchain, like they are pretty universal as it gets. Like, people are using them in different ways. Maybe Avalanche or Sui or some other blockchains are using them for gaming instead of using them for collectibles. Like, they may be using them in different ways, like in music NFTs. Those are, I
Yeah.
think, going to be popular as well. So it's um people are going to be using NFTs just in different ways, but I don't think the word NFT is going away. Like, I know they're trying to say digital collectible. I don't think it's going to go away for a while. I think more people are going to learn about what it is, and then maybe it'll shift away from the word NFT. But right now, it's just there's more and more interest in NFTs for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with I like music NFTs. I wrote a couple of articles. I am a bit surprised that they haven't picked up, because they make so much sense for,
So much sense
especially small artists, especially. It
for
makes so much
sure.
sense for them.
Yes.
Um, but I hear, Spotify, they have been working on, I mean, they have been hiring blockchain engineers for a while. So there is something happening there. And there are many big platforms. Actually, Sound.xyz it's a great platform. I think Catalog is also a very solid music NFT marketplace. So yeah, we'll see what happens with music. But that's so great what you're telling us. I'm wondering, Anjali, like, what are some of the big, because I mean, CollabLand runs NFT projects, as you mentioned, like Bored Apes, but also, artists, individual artists, that they power their community through CollabLand, but
Yeah.
also big brands, right? Like that, not like wearables and different, huge brands like Adidas and Gucci, and these sort of, brands that are experimenting with the space. So can you name a few that are some of the big use case? Let's say some of the most active communities on CollabLand. What does the data tells you?
Oh boy. Okay. So Oh, that's a big question. But I will definitely say NBA Top Shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like NBA, just NBA having an NFT project, like they were one of our largest communities when we started. And so in the summer of 2021, they joined us at, or they added CollabLand to their server. And that one remains extremely busy. And it's
Mm-hmm.
been interesting lately because there's almost been we talked about this a little bit before, but we're seeing a little bit of a resurgence, right? Like with
Yeah.
NFTs. And so it's really neat to see NBA Top Shot is one of those servers that has been able to maintain attention the
Mm.
whole time. This
Okay.
summer, I went to the F1 in Singapore, the
Yeah.
Grand Prix there, and I got to see McLaren. McLaren
Yeah.
uses CollabLand. And I also got to meet the team there, like the people at Tezos, because
Yeah.
McLaren is using Tezos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. They have a partnership with Tezos. Yeah.
right. And so it's like we were talking about NFTs and where NFTs are. It's like, look, they're on Tezos too. Like
Yeah.
there's a different way that people are using NFTs across all the different blockchains. But the McLaren Discord server is a lot of fun because
Mm.
F1 has its own fandom, right? And so
Yeah.
people who are buying this McLaren NFT love F1. And so
Mm.
they're in the server, it's not about floor go up, floor go down. It's
Mm.
about let's talk about what we're really into, and we're into F1. And that's different, I think, from our NFT communities maybe a couple of years ago, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm buying a doodle, which I love. I'm a two-time holder of doodle. I had a doodle, I sold the doodle, I bought another
Yeah.
doodle, and now I'm holding that doodle. Love doodles. But it's like, okay, we like the art. The art is cute, but what more are you talking about? Like you have
What's the
to like,
floor? What's the
what's the
floor?
floor? Floor, or how many do you
Yeah.
have, or I have a cooler one than you. Like
Yeah.
there isn't one thing, and now there is. Like successful communities have done a very, very good job of developing a culture. So I'm not saying Doodles isn't doing that. They are doing it, and it's amazing. But it's different from a brand with a product that already has a fandom, right?
Yeah.
To be able to join the server, because then you're not just talking about the NFT. The NFT is being used as a membership into a community of like-minded people. And with the PFP projects of 2021, it's like, I'll tell you why I bought, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm bullish on art and I'm bullish on technology, and I see what's possible with the blockchain, and I see what's possible with token gating, and I am fucking into it. I am just into it. And so, yes, I'll buy the NFTs. Yes, I'll get into the community. Yes, I'll use the PFP on my Twitter. I want people to know that I am a fan of the space and I'm an advocate of the space. And so that's why I joined, because of
Yeah.
that. Now, if I'm buying an NFT for a brand like McLaren, I'm doing it because I love F1. I'm not doing
Yeah.
it because I want everyone to know I'm a believer in cryptocurrency or blockchain technology.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference. Yeah, I think they're doing a great job. But there's so many other cross-chain projects now that are, I will say, I'm thinking of last week when we looked at what our top 10 is right now. And of the top 10, at least 5 of them are cross-chain projects, cross-chain
Oh,
NFT
so
projects
what does it mean that they cross over or
that
that they have NFTs
assets.
in
They
different
have
blockchains?
assets on multiple chains.
Mm.
And it's really interesting to see that, because that's where the most growth is coming from. Projects that are not just being maxi of one chain, but saying
Mm.
we're going to have one element on chain X and one element on chain Y. And if you have element X and Y, then you can get this role in the server. So with CollabLand, we're pretty advanced. And so you can do composable roles. You can have, whatever it is, like a pink gumball on Avalanche, and you can have a purple
Yeah.
gumball on Tezos, and together you can get a gumball roll. So there's lots of advancements that have happened over the years with CollabLand. But that is what's happening in terms of like, who are the big movers right now? And I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe that's some alpha. That's something to think about. It's the cross-chain projects. So not
Yeah.
financial advice. In case anyone's hearing this, I'm not giving advice. However, I will say a little bit of alpha from CollabLand. 5 of the top 10 projects right now are cross-chain projects. So make
Yeah.
of that what you want.
No, that makes a lot of sense because it's a way, even if we are all into NFTs and blockchain and art and BFPs, at the end of the day, each blockchain feels kind of, they have its own silo in a way, and a few people explore multiple chains. So in my case, I consider myself very active, but I'm mostly on Tezos and Ethereum, and now Ethereum has so many L2s, right? So I'm exploring Base, I'm exploring Optimism, I'm exploring Polygon a bit, but that's it. And as you said, CollabLand has 28, supports 28 different chains. So there is so many people, right, in all these chains. And that's probably why a project that, I mean, it doesn't mean that just by launching on a new chain, you will get attention. But if you do it right, it's a great way to onboard or find new people, right?
Yeah, I think people, oh, I'll tell you how that happens is that projects come or chains come to us. Or, so number one, either a blockchain comes to us and says, we need CollabLand.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to build it ourselves and we need token gating. Token gating is a thing. In order to attract NFTs to our chain, we need to have CollabLand because the
Yeah.
NFTs that have minted on our chain are like, what do you have for token gating?
Yeah.
So rather than having to build it themselves, they rather just kind of tap into our experience. I mean, like I said, we've been doing this now over 3.5 years, and we've kind of seen it all. And we've had to experience scaling. And so there's confidence that we can scale, and we have scaled.
Mhm.
Talking about numbers specifically, we have 2.9 million individual Discord and Telegram IDs. And over
Mhm.
those 2.9 million, we have over 11 million wallet connections. And so
Wow.
each person, maybe you've joined 4 communities, or maybe you have 4 wallets. So you have 4 presents,
Mm.
4
Right.
elements, right? You could either have your wallet, 4 wallets, or you could be in 4 different communities. So then that would be a different wallet connection for each of those. So we have over 11 million wallet connections. Yeah, I mean, other than exchanges, like,
Mhm.
and wallets, MetaMask, right? Like, other than exchanges or wallets, I don't think there's another project out there that
Yeah.
is as big and has been as everywhere, that we're everywhere. And so, or most people have had relationship with us. And that's really weird and cool because
Mm.
the team is pretty small. Like, I ran the support team for the first 2.5 years, still on the support team. Our comms team is small. I still co-run the Twitter. Yeah, we're just a really small group, and our work is service work. Honestly, it's just
Mhm.
like the least glamorous work. We answer questions, support questions from everybody, from people that just entered crypto yesterday to the most advanced person, admin or project owner or smart contract developer. Like, we really have to cover the whole spectrum of people. And it's just not very glamorous. It's
Yeah.
definitely, everyone on our team has a deep sense of responsibility and service to what we're trying to do here. And it makes it meaningful because
Yeah.
it's not easy. And people, with CollabLand, one of the biggest issues is that we just get a lot of impersonators.
Yeah.
It's
That's
really
what
painful.
I wanted to ask you about that. The
Please, yeah,
security.
I'm happy to talk about it. It's awful.
Yeah, because it's very complex to manage such a, you have so many eyes on CollabLand. It's basically the gateway for all these, for all
Yeah.
everything that a community can do. And then there are always impersonators. I think I had, yeah, when I had my DMs open on Discord, many were from fake.
We don't send DMs. Exactly.
Yeah,
So then
exactly.
but
Yeah.
it's, number one, it's awful. It
Hmm.
just sucks. Like I said, we're really a team of service people. Like, we're doing this honestly. Like, there's been some people that have come and gone from our team, but the
Hmm.
people who stay and are here now are people that believe in this, believe in people coming together, believe in the blockchain as being an opportunity to have people from all over the world work together for the first time in a way that can affect their real lives. And then to have the situation where people use the name, right? Because they've heard of it, or they know people know it. And that's just been the price of being successful, honestly.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Like, we hate it, but we also are like, try our best and spend a lot of time on education. So if you
Yeah.
want to learn, you want to be educated in security, you can learn from CollabLand. We do a Twitter Spaces called Spotlight on Security every other week.
Okay.
You can come and learn, join our server. We have so many areas where we talk about security. We have so many videos, like, we talk about security a lot. However, you know, as much as anybody else in this space, people just dive in and they just don't even know. Like, we've had people send us their seed phrase, like
Yeah.
in support tickets,
Yeah.
like seriously sending us their seed phrase. And we have to say, stop, do
Yeah.
not do this. You cannot use this wallet anymore. Like,
Yeah.
do not, but like, that's the level that we're dealing with. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do with
the,
that?
the the real issue, in my opinion, is that, I mean, it's a battle, and I think you're fighting that battle, but the whole space is mostly about phishing, right? And phishing scams and impersonators. It's not really about the technology. It's more
No,
about
not the technology at
scammers.
all. They're not using
Yeah.
the technology. Like,
Yeah.
there's also fake Discord servers, like, for every popular project, there's probably a fake Discord server and a real
Mhm.
Discord server. And the fake Discord server is going to have a fake CollabLand, which has nothing to do with the technology. They're literally just using the graphic. But if
Yeah.
you've never used CollabLand before
Yeah.
and you haven't educated yourself on how CollabLand works, then you're just going to give
Yeah.
up your seed phrase, or you're just going to
Yes.
sign a malicious message or whatever. Like, we get support tickets that say, oh, CollabLand, you charged me whatever 0.5 ETH or something to join this group, and then you never let me join it. And I was like, CollabLand doesn't charge for
Yeah.
verification. So it's like, they don't even know that. And so it's
Yeah.
like, oh, having to say that to people is very frustrating. We do everything we can, but people still get tricked in this space. And I will tell you, the scammers get smarter and smarter all the time. And so they
Mhm.
use now social engineering, right? So it's not just going to a Discord server, it's like they build a relationship with you.
Yeah.
And then they'll have you join something. Like, I heard of a space, like, it was like a fake, it was a copy of one of the famous crypto media outlets. And so you'll have someone reach out to you as if they're a reporter.
They work there. Yeah.
They talk to you and ask you about, like, what you do, and they want to do a show with you. And then they tell you to join a Discord server, for all fake. They're using the name, all completely fake. And then they ask you to verify with CollabLand, and then you give up your information and you trust along the way, right? It's like they're
Yeah.
building trust with you along the way. And that's it guts you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, me particularly, I know they are very sophisticated because in my case, they impersonate, I mean, my newsletter, sometimes I have sponsors and they know I write and they know I'm open for sponsors. So they reach out as if they want to sponsor my newsletter, and they can be very, as you said, they can impersonate a brand, they can fake the email of a brand, they can create a fake website. So it's very sophisticated stuff that what's happening now. They are really taking the time to go
Oh
that
my God.
far, and it's
So
really
worth it
complicated.
though. Think about it.
Yeah.
It's just so worth it. And now they buy Twitter ads. Like, it used to be
Yeah.
that scammers weren't going to spend money. But
Mhm.
now with crypto, they can make so much money. I mean, look at SBF. Didn't he make billions of dollars stealing
Yeah.
from people?
Yeah.
But it's like, there's so much money to be made that they're willing to buy the ads. They're even
Hmm.
willing to sponsor IRL events. I was talking
Oh,
to one exchange. So I know this is
really?
crazy, but I was
Yeah.
talking to one exchange, right? A famous
Yeah.
exchange. And I was saying, like, how much does sponsorship cost for your events? Because they have
Hmm.
huge events, right? Like, exchanges have, like, they just have money,
Massive.
right?
Yeah.
Right. They've just got massive bank accounts. And so
Yeah.
they put on these huge events, and then they hire, or then they do sponsorship. And they said sponsorship for their events starts at $50,000 USD.
Mm.
And they told me they have to say no because they have to vet everyone that wants to sponsor. And so many scammers want to
Wow.
sponsor.
So they sponsor it and they promote a scammer's website or product, and they are willing to pay 50,000 to
$50,000.
get people there.
Can you believe that?
That's crazy. Yeah.
It is.
I mean,
How much money are scammers making? Really?
yeah. Yeah, I see it every day on OpenSea, right? The fake collections is crazy. And that's copy minting. But yeah, it's just resell an NFT that is not real. But in this case, they probably get wallets, right? And they can drain wallets. So it's
Probably. And
well,
it's just going to get worse. I mean, like with AI, when you're public, Kahlo, I'm public because I'm on this podcast
mhm,
with you or these Twitter spaces with you. Like when you're a public person and your voice is out there, people can manipulate your voice to make
yeah,
scams. And
yeah,
so we need to also we need a way to verify who's who. Like, and really blockchain fixes this, of course, like with verifiable credentials. But it's like you have to be able to prove that the voice is this person and verified with the blockchain. Because otherwise, we're all going to be impersonated, and the impersonations are just going to keep getting more and more sophisticated. They're going to be able to do deep fakes of what we look like and what we sound like. And how are we even going to, and I don't want to scare anybody out there, but how are we going to really know?
with CollabLand. So CollabLand needs to to build a solution. No, but you're right. I've seen this around with the popular podcasters. I think Joe Rogan had many impersonators, and there are many, known podcasters that they have video, like hours of video and hours of voice, and they basically can say whatever they want. The
They can say
impersonators.
anything. Like, I'm sure I've
Yeah,
said most words, right? In
yeah,
all of the podcasts or speaking that I've done, I probably said a lot of words that can easily be used to really say whatever. And
mm,
that's really scary. I mean, it's scary to think right now with CollabLand, it's already horrible that
yeah,
people impersonate CollabLand. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I try to have kindness for people and understand that people are in different economic situations. But impersonating CollabLand, like it's just so low. Like to
yeah,
impersonate a project that is really, number one, a free community project, but one that is really just trying to bring people together.
yeah.
And to take advantage of people like that, especially new people into the space, like it hurts.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, if we take like a percentage of the amount of impersonators in crypto, and we compare that to, other industries, let's call it, and do you think there is the same amount of people impersonating, like, trying to steal credit cards, trying to,
Oh, it's way worse outside of crypto. I will tell you, it's still the worst. In Web2, PayPal,
mhm,
credit cards, bank accounts. I mean, there's fake Twitter. Like, as far as crypto, yeah, it feels bad. It feels
yeah,
bad because we're part of a movement, you and I.
yes,
We're part of
hmm,
something that we're trying to show the world how important it can be and what's possible for the first time ever in human existence. So because we're part of a movement, it hurts the
yeah,
most. But no, there's definitely more phishing that happens outside of crypto than anywhere else. Like I think
okay,
PayPal, even the door to door people that come to, like all of that is still on texting. Like you
yeah.
probably get them and you don't even notice. Like
Yeah,
text,
you're right. And fake
those,
emails, scammers via email that usually goes to spam. That we also get a lot of those, not necessarily in crypto. And yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
those
I get
people
much
have to
more
do.
spam
Yeah, and
out
then
of crypto.
also with data leaks, like all
Yeah.
the big grocery stores and all the big even banks, like everyone's always getting a data leak. And so our
Mm-hmm.
social security numbers are out there. People can make accounts on our behalf. So that is way worse.
Mm-hmm.
But this doesn't feel good. But of course, what people should be more aware. I know, when you think about it that way, it's like we're already used to it being online. You know that you're a target and that you know that
Yeah.
you've dealt with phishing. Why is it when you come to crypto or you have your first NFT experience, whatever, like why don't you think about that instead of just thinking
Yeah.
everything? Like we should, anyone that's been online, that's an online person, should know that
Yeah.
phishing is a thing that exists, right?
Yeah. But I think it's so tricky, and they are so sophisticated, and it's a matter of like one click. and
One
then
click.
it's gone. So it's so complicated. I've seen people like experts getting hacked, and I think Kevin Rose was hacked once. So but people that are very active in the space, they also get hacked. So
Oh,
yeah, it's very
yeah,
complicated. But
it's
yeah, we'll
and really the lesson from all of that, and the thing that I've heard, like if we're going to talk about like how not to get hacked, of course
mm,
anyone can at any time. I've been scammed too. It was the Mechaverse NFT. Do you remember
the,
Mechaverse?
yes, I remember that one, and it was. I mean, they had some drawback because of the similarity between
Oh
NFTs,
yeah,
right?
so that was way after. But
Yeah.
before Mechaverse minted, before it's minting,
Okay.
it had about 200,000 people in the server waiting for the
Wow.
mint. And so
Wow.
all of us were waiting for the mint. And then I got a DM, which I didn't realize was a DM. I thought I
Mm-hmm.
read it in the server because I was distracted. And I was like, oh, look, Mechaverse is minting. Click, let me buy it. And then I said, wait a minute, it let me buy 5 of them. I'm like,
Mm.
that seems weird for a project that's so highly anticipated. But I was on my phone, and then I rushed home, got on my computer, moved everything out of that wallet. But I did lose the money that I spent on the mint. And so I think they were
Oh.
making so much money that maybe they didn't drain my whole wallet immediately. I only lost however much money it was for the mint. I think I lost like half a ETH or something. Yeah, point
Okay.
0.6. But I moved everything out of that wallet. But I could, if it would have happened today, Kahlo, my
Yeah.
wallet would have been immediately drained. It was
Yeah.
so early that the scammers were just taking like mint
Yeah.
money.
They weren't draining. They were just taking the money and not really draining people. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, those days were crazy, and it happened everywhere in different blockchains and different projects. I saw that also across generative art with art blocks, FX hash. So it's all around, and we'll see what happens, because at that time, during those days, it was more of the you didn't want to miss out, right? It was like you wanted to do it quickly because it
FOMO,
was an
right?
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's different. Now I
Yeah.
think now it's more of if you get, yeah, if you get confused and you think you're clicking something that you're thinking, but it's not really on
Correct.
the speed and trying to do it very
And it's
quickly.
still easy. I mean, it can still happen. Like I get nervous anytime I mint from a new platform, to the point of, and I don't want to say anything bad about any other platform, but I'll say
Mm.
like if it isn't on Manifold, then I don't
Mm.
want to mint. Like if you're
Yeah.
minting, and I don't, again, it's not that I hate other minting platforms. I mean, I love them all, but it's like that's the way I protect myself. I'm like, and I don't have any deal with Manifold. I think they're wonderful,
Yeah.
but it's like I use them so much at the beginning of the year during the like 1155 open edition meta. Do you remember that?
Yes, the open editions. Yeah, I saw that. I wrote an article about that. But why, for example, I always check the URL, right, of the marketplaces. That's kind of
Yeah,
the only thing I check, to be honest, is that I'm in the right URL. But it's
right.
still complex because some
Still,
marketplaces use .xyz, other use something else, so it's not that great.
right.
But you also so why manifold? You also see some advantages of the manifold contracts compared to marketplaces in general.
It's just that's where my first experience was with open
Mm.
editions and like minting this year. And so now when people are minting open editions, because I'm not really buying, I mean, I actually have, I rebought Doodles, I bought into Cool Cats, I bought into Lil Pudgies. So I have bought a bunch of the things I couldn't
Mm.
afford before. So
Yeah,
I bought
yeah,
over the summer. Like I couldn't have afforded a Cool Cat before. No
yeah,
way. And then this time it was under half a ETH. It was like zero point 0.4 ETH or something like that. And so I
yeah,
bought one for myself. I bought one for my husband. It was awesome. I love being a cool cat with him. And then also Doodles, I bought at 1.25 or something like that. I don't remember. But it's like, when was a doodle so cheap? Like
yeah.
if you, so I got excited. And then little pudgies as well, because big pudgies are still too expensive
Yeah,
for me.
big podges are expensive, right? But little podges are accessible. Yeah,
Yeah, big pudgies are expensive. And
yeah.
I mean, I guess I should care about getting the big pudgy, but I think the little pudgies are just so cute. Like, here's
Hmm.
my little pudgy. I'll show you. I have a little pudgy right here. This is the one from
Ah,
Walmart. Look
well,
at it.
Walmart. Yeah, nice.
my Pudgy, I guess we're not talking about CollabLand anymore, but it's okay. You said we could keep it casual, right?
Yeah, it's fine. Oh,
This
so you
fish,
got that at Walmart,
I did.
right?
I bought, well, actually, I went to Walmart. They didn't have any. And then I ordered it online. I came home and ordered it online, and
Okay.
I got it the next day.
That's good. Actually, I here in Europe, I think they aren't. I mean, Walmart is not that popular. They have other chains, right, that are owned by Walmart. So I
Yeah.
guess at some point we'll get those, in physical stores. But
Yeah.
that's nice. Yeah,
But this is the
especially during
little pudgy
Christmas.
body. Like this is the little
Yeah.
pudgy body. So
Mm,
I like having a little pudgy. It's so cute. And I know the big pudgies are the premier. But
mm,
I think it's fun. I think little pudgies have their own kind of excitement around them. I mean, it's kind of like nouns, right? Like I can't afford nouns,
yeah.
but I could afford little nouns.
Yeah.
So in that way, and actually that kind of brings me around, if I could talk about brands for 1 second,
Yeah.
like for brands, having an NFT collection and putting out digital assets is a great way to grow their audience. Like
Mm,
I may not be able to afford a designer handbag at Prada this year or in the next 5 years, who knows, right? Like I may not be able to afford that, but I can afford it Prada NFT. And then when I can afford a designer handbag, then I can buy a Prada bag because I already
mm,
like the brand and I'm already a fan of the brand. In the same way, I love that I can have a little pudgy. Like I love it
yeah.
because I can be a part of the community. And then when I can afford to buy a big pudgy if I want to, then I will. So
Yeah.
it's really a great way. Digital assets, digital collectibles, NFTs, whatever you want to call them, like it's a really wonderful way to grow your brand.
Yeah. No, I agree actually, and I think there is a thing about digital identity, right? That I think we haven't yet, because everything moves so fast. But with the upcoming tools, so I've been spending a lot of time in decentralized social networks, right? So Farcaster and Lens, and they really open the doors for this kind of, showing the brands that you are interested in and the communities you are part of, because these social networks have integrated basically your collection, and then you can do different things and people can build dApps on top of them. So that's when we'll be able to share more open, like these communities we are part of. And right now it's basically, a PFP, or you can visit a collection. I can visit your collection and see what you have. But I feel like in the future there will be many more use cases to show your digital identity, and people will, recognize, oh, you have a Pudgy Penguin, or you have a generative piece from X artist. And I think that will make things more interesting. Um, yeah, talking about brands, and I wanted to ask you, since you have been around seeing all these communities grow, and also some of them disappear, what will you say are like, elements of strong communities, and
Ah, that's a
what
good
are,
question.
yeah.
I mean, I will say number one, committing to a mod and an admin team. I've seen too many communities that think that the creator can do it on their own or just have
Mhm.
some friends do it. Like, that is not going to sustain your community. Communities need consistency. They need a content calendar that they can count on. Like if you miss an event, it should have some meaning, like, oh, I missed it, but maybe I can go to another one and I can catch up. Like
Mm,
we have a very consistent content calendar. And I will tell you why community matters. And this is just something that came up today. But so James does an AI meetup every other week. So twice a month, he does an AI meetup in the CollabLand server. And somebody came into the server today and said, oh, the person who's speaking is a scammer and the person scammed me. So talking about James. And then the
ah,
rest of the community was like, what are you doing?
mhm.
Like, we've never seen you before. Like, we're
Yeah.
here every other week. We can guarantee you that that's not true. And so it's like the community was able to come together around something
Hmm.
silly, like somebody coming in. Like this person actually put their phone number in the chat and was like, tell him to call me right now. Weird, right?
Yeah,
I know,
that's really
weird.
weird.
But the other people in the group are like, this is our space. We
Yeah.
come here to learn about AI and how CollabLand is going to be utilizing AI in the future, which we can talk about if
Mm,
we have
yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like the community came together. And that's how you build community. What's the word I'm looking for? Building community, really, but building relationships with one another is that you have these moments that you spend together. And so in order to have those moments that you spend together, you have to have quality content. You have to show the community that you're invested in them. It can't
Mm.
be a situation where you're just like, oh, I sold all these NFTs and everyone bought them and they need to figure it out on their own. That's not showing a commitment to your community. So having a mod and admin team that's serious, having a content calendar and putting out events that are meaningful, recognizing people, like when people are doing good work, when you have somebody that is welcoming others, when you have somebody that's answering support questions, like recognize them, say thank you, say good job,
Yeah.
give them a verifiable credential. You can actually do that with CollabLand, give verified credentials to each other based on work that's been performed. So give them a POAP. Like you just
Mm.
learn to recognize when people are doing work that is meaningful to you. And so I guess those are my biggest tips. One, mod admin
Yeah.
team, pay them well. They're important. Content calendar, create content that's important. And then recognizing when community members do stand out, don't lose them. It's our attention is our work right now. Like
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. You're giving me attention and that's work. And I'm giving you attention and that's work. And so we should be valued and appreciated for spending the moments of our life giving somebody attention or giving a project
Yeah.
attention. It should not be ignored. It's not worthless. It's everything.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I'm trying to get some tips on my communities, right? But I agree. I agree that yeah, rewarding those that are active, having a good mod team that are there, that that they know the team is putting effort into their requests, into their questions. That makes a lot of sense. And also to battle what we were discussing, right? The security aspects, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
always been one of my concerns on my discords and my communities. Hackers, right? Like people, impersonators, and people sharing crazy, like bad links and stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
you got to do all of that. I'm sure you are. I mean, we have a security person on our team. If you need tips, Kahlo, let me know. I will ask him to have a call with you and give you a rundown of what would be helpful for you to have in your server. So happy to
Yeah,
help with that.
thanks. I appreciate it. And you just mentioned AI. We cannot leave without hearing that. So what's CollabLand? I mean, planning in terms of AI, but also in the future, right? Like, how do you see the space evolving and in CollabLand evolving? I'm very interested in that.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of new initiatives that are coming out that I can talk about. The AI one is part of the second one, and they all kind of come together. But we're doing a SocialFi. Like, so for us, it was how do we make CollabLand sustainable? Like, where do we charge people? And so it was very difficult because we want to keep CollabLand free. We want people to be able to build communities and for
Mhm.
that to be accessible to everybody, for every creator, for every member. Being able to come together and be together should be human right. And so we don't want to charge at that level. So it was more like, how are we going to then give people what they want and still be able to make money? And so then we moved from the idea of monetizing our admins to finding a way to monetize our members. So we have 53,000 admins, for example, but we have over 2.9 million members. And so what if we find what our members are looking for and then
Mhm.
monetize that way? Not charge them to verify, but find out what they want, what they're paying for elsewhere, and
Yeah.
then create that and then charge at that level, because we have such a
Mhm.
huge reach over so many different blockchains and so many different communities. Like, why not us? And what
Mhm.
felt good to us is creating something that our members would want. So we have a SocialFi app coming out, which is very
Mm.
CollabLand related, which is you're going to be able to it's called Telefriends, and I guess you're
Okay.
going to be out in, I mean, people who are listening are going to hear it, but otherwise, we'll know in a week or so, because it's
Okay.
but there's a SocialFi app coming out. And then we also have a trading bot that's going to be coming out. One thing we've learned is that people want to transact together within their communities. Like we've seen that
Mm-hmm.
this summer with trading bots and like with
Yes.
Unibot and Banana Gun. And so it's like for us, we're like, oh, that's something we can do as well. So really the meta for us is, or the future for us is creating apps, either ourselves or through third parties, that our members want. And if our
Okay.
members want it, then we'll be able to reach them safely. And we already have a relationship with them. So it's really how do we bring value to our community of communities? And that's the first two ways we're doing it. We have a SocialFi app coming out that people are asking for, and we'll be using Telegram as the
Mm-hmm.
chat platform. And then we have a trading bot coming out that's going to be being able to copy trade and make trades, like influencers or KOLs are going to be able to have their own groups where people are going to be able to copy trade what they do. Like
Oh, that's nice.
people want
I
that
mean,
sort of
yeah,
transacting. I will say this, the future is one line, I would say, transacting within your community.
yeah. No, no, I really like the idea. I mean, I saw also friend.tech, right? That a few months ago that was kind of crazy. I haven't used those bots. I have heard about the, I mean, bots that are becoming popular, but the concept of copy trading, I saw this. I used actually eToro, which was used for copy trading stocks, right? That you could copy a popular stock trader and just automatically do whatever he was doing or she was doing. And I think that's very useful, especially for those that don't have the time to be doing their things. And my question is, will these tools be like, I have a couple of discords and communities powered by CollabLand. So will I get access to those
Yep.
tools in my community,
Mm.
or
So we're
how does
starting with
that work?
Telegram. However,
Mhm.
yes, the communities will transfer over to Discord as well.
Discord.
So
Okay.
yes, if you have CollabLand installed in your server, then you have access to every single what we're calling mini app that CollabLand
Mm.
has. Right now we have a POAP mini app, we have a snapshot mini app, we have verifiable credential mini app, we have security mini apps. We have a
Mm.
like a decentralized Zoom called Huddle mini app. So we're continuing to build on the CollabLand platform. CollabLand isn't just a token gating bot now, it's an entire infrastructure. It's a network layer. And so
Okay.
people are building on top with their own applications. And so if you have
Nice.
CollabLand installed, then the value of what CollabLand is going to continue to grow because that's what we're committed to. We're committed to
Mm.
working together. We're being interoperable, that seeing what future we can make when we live in a collaborative and not a competitive space.
That's amazing. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to try it out. And I think will be very useful. Also, the trading bots. I spent some time building some bots because there are some, marketplaces, blockchains that aren't supported. So I think if CollabLand builds this kind of tooling, that would be amazing. And Yali, it was amazing talking to you. It was we ran over 1 hour now, but it was, yeah, very very insightful. I learned a lot, and yeah, I will be looking forward to those tools, the trading bot and the copy trading bot as well. That's great.
There's so much more to talk about that, but we don't have to now. There's a whole AI element. There's a lot of other stuff around that. We're doing a whole bunch with account abstraction and passkey integration. There's a lot happening, but I appreciate the time that you've given me so far, and this has been delightful. I hope I get to see you in Paris. I really
Yeah,
do.
hopefully. Yeah, in February. Yeah, I'm really looking forward
Let's
to
do it.
NFT Paris. Yeah, and maybe we can chat again in the podcast in the future, and we can see how communities are evolving.
I would love that.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Anjali. I'll cut it down now. Bye bye.